Hello, friends, and welcome to the specialist episode of the Happy Half Hour of the Year. Everybody's happy, thanks to our friends from Deep Eddy. Nothing personal. We don't even need them today because everybody in the buildings. Yeah, you should enjoy some Deep Eddy anyway, responsibly, of course, as always. But it's that time of year. Everybody in this building's walking around with a smile on their face today. I can't imagine why.
What a good Christmas present from the Panthers to themselves and to the fans. I mean, you have a 2-game series with the Bucs. To get the first one and to get it in that fashion, offense played well. Defense came up with the big play at the end. I mean, that was a nice little Christmas amuse-bouche, if you want to call it that. Sends you into the holiday week with a lot of excitement and knowing you still got one more to take care of, but you got a little bit of time.
We were all amused by that, Cassidy.
Yeah, thank you, Darin. I appreciate that.
It's going to be that kind of show, friends. It's going to be that kind of week. There's a lot of stuff going on. I keep hearing rumors about this thing called Christmas that's coming up later in the week. Many people are talking about it. I'm going to get to that at some point very soon, I'm sure. I'm hoping the elves out there in my life might offer some assistance coming down the stretch here a little bit because it's a busy time around Bank of America Stadium. As we discussed, Carolina Panthers 23, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. This football team is 8-7 going into the final 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
8 wins is something this team hasn't done since 2017. It's been a minute, and the people. It was interesting to me walking through that locker room yesterday to see the Derek Browns, to see the J.C. Horns, even the Austin Corbett's, who have been around here and lived it and seen some of the lean times, to see the excitement in them right now. I mean, they all sort of talked about how this team is hungry. I mean, Austin is one of the old guys around here at this point, but to see everybody recognize what's happening here, this is a unique point in time for the Carolina Panthers. It only gets to be new once, and for this group, this is a brand new feeling. And as much as they all kind of have that dad mentality, that workman like, oh, we got to get back what you're going to do. You know, all that stuff football people have to say, even though they've got that in their core, there's an excitement among these guys because they know they're doing something pretty cool right now.
See, and that's so funny that you picked up on that because my takeaway was kind of like, it was subdued, all things considered.
Yeah.
Like there was an excitement for sure, but it wasn't like, oh, this was there wasn't an excitement in the sense of this was the biggest win of the season.
Right.
It may have been the most important game of the season to this point, but it wasn't the biggest win because they know in their minds this is the first of a 2-game series.
Yeah.
And that if you don't and what they did yesterday went a long way towards what they need to do in week 18. But it was sort of the sense of we'll celebrate after week 18.
Right.
You know?
And what I'm not trying to say they weren't excited or that they were too excited, but I think there is a realization that they're really, really close to something special or something that hadn't happened in a long time. Mm-hmm. Again, we've talked about it. The Carolina Panthers haven't had a home game in the playoffs in Bank of America Stadium since 2015. And it's been a long time. It's been too long. And for all those fans who were out there in the seats yesterday making a ton of noise and swinging them cool black towels around over their heads, like Petey Pablo, perhaps they were inspired.
He was here.
He was here. He was all up in this place. But Petey was excited, and so were all the fans because they were giving him something to cheer about. I mean, it's the football they are playing is the kind of complimentary, one side picks up the other football Dave Canales has been preaching about all year, and yesterday was a perfect example of it. You wrote about it this morning, and kind of there was so much stuff coming out of that game, it just spilled over into Monday, and you talked to a bunch of the guys on defense. It's like every now and then they took a shot or two from the Bucs because the Bucs have done this 4 times straight.
I mean, and they got
know
an explosive offense.
But they got up and they kept swinging back themselves.
Yeah. I mean, no better picture of that than Lathan Ransom himself.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a bad position. He wasn't in a bad headspace, but he was in a bad position last week, having to try to make that tackle on Tyler Shuck and it drawing an unnecessary roughness penalty from the slide and the hit. And one play does not win or lose a game, but that was the play that put the Saints in field goal position for a walk-off win, and we all know that. And for Lathan to then come back and, For that to be the last play on defense last week, and then to have the last play on defense this week, and it's the game winner, the game sealer. That's one of them stories that really only football can write.
That's right.
And it was almost poetic in a way, and you just had to love it for him. But yeah, every guy, Mike Jackson is the one who used the boxing analogy because he's who gave up that touchdown to Mike Evans in the first quarter. And listen, Mike Evans is a big physical. I know you don't like us to look ahead and write history before we get there, but probably a future Hall of Famer when you look at that guy like that for all the seasons that he had. The point being, Mike Evans is a really, really good wide receiver, and he puts a lot of corners in a blender. And Mike Jackson was in a good position on that ball. Mike Evans just kind of out-physicaled him on that.
We'll talk about Mike Evans in the Hall of Fame once our guy Steve Smith's got his
we'll get
jacket.
there.
We'll take care of that one first,
Right.
then we'll get to Mike. Mike is very good, though.
But
the point stands.
And Mike Jackson said, you've got to if you're gonna, it's like boxing, you've got to be able to take a punch to deliver a punch. Took a punch with that early first down, delivered him for the rest of the game. He gave up 3 other catches the rest of the game for a total of 11 yards, had 3 pass breakups, and some of them huge. Some across the middle of the fields, another one on Mike. I think maybe my favorite part about Mike Jackson yesterday, though, was that he and Baker Mayfield exchanged a lot of pleasantries the entire game.
That's one way to put it.
And that's just 2 guys that you want those guys on your team that aren't afraid to kind of look across the line and go, you're not going to scare me. And both of those guys are like that. So it was fun to watch them facing off.
Yeah, and it's cool. I love, among the things I love about this team right now, and this kind of came up yesterday in the aftermath of that one too, there is an island of misfit toys quality about this football team right now, specifically on defense. I mean, Mike Jack was a guy that the Seattle Seahawks didn't particularly want a couple years ago, and they were like, yeah, sure, some 7th-round pick who's probably not going to make your team. Yeah, you can have Mike, whatever, knock yourself out. Mike Jackson's come here and become a really good, solid cornerback for this team. He's tied for the league lead in pass defense, and he's making plays on a routine basis. And when J.C. Horn's not getting any attention on his side of the ball, that means they're going Mike's way. Yeah. Mike is responding by making plays, but it's not just Mike. I mean, you've got, Trevin Wallace out with a shoulder injury. Christian Roseboom, take that green dot back, called him plays. Get these guys lined up. Roseboom played a great game. Claudin Cherlis steps in, plays a good, solid game next to Roseboom in there. They've just had a procession of guys come through and step up in different spots. I mean, Turk Wharton's hurt, so Bobby Brown jumps in there, and Bobby's played good ball the last couple of weeks. And it takes every single one of them all the way down to the Travis Gibsons, the Cam Jacksons, the LeBron Rays of the world, who a lot of people aren't thinking about top of mind, but they've had this good, solid core of people all year long who were able to step in and make plays at that time. Claude said it after the game. He said, we've got kind of this culture of accountability around here where guys know when you step into a spot, the expectation is for you to maintain the level. And that's easier said than done, especially in football, because we've seen it in the past when a J.C. Horn's injured in the past or a Derek Brown last year. There's no replacing guys like that. But when guys step into this lineup, whether it's a short-term or long-term absence, there is that expectation on them, and a lot of them all year long have delivered.
And a lot of credit to Dan Morgan, because we knew there was a lot to work with on this, or a lot that needed to be done with this defense, and there's still stuff that needs to be done. But he made sure to go out and attack places where not only did they need help at the starting position, but they needed depth, and that's really what he focused on. So you've got a Turk Wharton who you can trust to start, and you've got a Bobby Brown who you can trust to step in and not have much fall off. The way that Dan Morgan kind of attacked that group in the trenches the past 2 years, because, my God, we've seen it pay off with the offensive line, too.
Like 11 combinations in 15 weeks.
And it hasn't been a problem.
Yep.
And so the way he's attacked both trenches the past 2 off seasons to not only bring in really, really, really good quality starters, but also really quality depth, has been really impressive. Can we talk about Bobby Brown for just a second? I don't know why I did this. I just wanted to get your attention.
You were just trying to push the button
really,
to make this notebook turn on?
Yeah.
It's a manual. It's an analog notebook.
Bobby Brown had like one of the most pure moments yesterday. I don't know why it cracked me up so much. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No.
It was after.
It's a surprise to me, too.
The TV cameras caught him after the Lathan interception. The TV cameras go back to get Baker's reaction. And Bobby, who played with Baker in L.A. for a little bit of time, is standing there. And it looks at first like maybe he still had Baker wrapped up from where he was trying to tackle him, which I don't know. I want to ask him like how it all unfolded. It probably was that. And you could tell they both were just kind of standing there, like waiting to see what happened. And then it's like, okay, it was intercepted. And then Bobby just kind of turns this tackle hold into a hug, and he like pats Baker on the helmet. And Baker turns and realizes it's Bobby and just kind of pats him on the chest pad, like, good game, buddy. And they both walk off. It was so sweet. And it was, again, like I said, I love seeing Baker and Mike Jack kind of jaw the whole time, but it's also a lot of guys that have played together. It was such a pure, like, good game buddy moment.
I have this picture of Bobby Brown burping Baker Mayfield or something. What's going on here? But, yeah, I mean, he is just an example of so many of those guys. The other thing that kind of rang through to me yesterday in watching that game is how many rookies continue to make an impact on this team. There are 11 on the roster. Corey Thornton, bless his heart, is on injured reserve right now. He was scooting by on his scooter today, doing about 15 miles an hour on that scooter. He's still in a boot after surgery on that broken ankle from the San Francisco game. Corey's one of those guys who is going to be a part of this thing for the long haul. But in talking about replacements, it's just rookie after rookie after rookie. It's Ryan Fitzgerald hitting yet another game-winning field goal. That's just 4 this year.
Let me add another one.
Fitz-Money's out there doing his thing. Jimmy Horn touches the ball one time, 25 yards on the ground. And then T-Max making plays. It was good to see him back in the mix after a couple weeks of a little bit of slump. 5 catches over the last 3 weeks. Stepped up big. I think 6 catches for 73 in the touchdown. Yep. And so it's just guy after guy. Lathan Ransom, Nick Scorton has become
buddy.
A really regular playmaker for this team. I have to remind myself a lot of times, Nick Scorton's still just 21 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, in a business of young people, a lot of rookies are coming into this league like Tyler Shuck, 26 years old and off their parents' insurance. Nick Scorton's got 5 years left. I mean, so it's wild. He
can milk that insurance.
That's right. It's wild to think that he's just a 21-year-old guy who is still growing into his own body in a lot of ways and is making plays at the NFL level. Yeah. That's a good sign for the Carolina Panthers for years to come. And, of course, as we mentioned, Lathan Ransom right out of the top. Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of criticism the week before for something that might not have even necessarily been your fault. Kellen Moore runs his quarterback into the middle of cannon fire, and he was the one that happened to be standing there on the other side of it. But over and over, you're seeing rookies step up and make plays for this team. And that's why I say it occurs to me that this team does have that kind of fresh-faced new quality because there's so many babies on this roster. I mean,
just babies. They just a baby.
11 rookies on an NFL football team. They're in the top 3 in the league in games played by rookies. And all that was on purpose, friends, because the Carolina Panthers knew this was going to be a year to build, to grow, to develop.
And Dave Canales told us early on in the season that, he's willing to take his lumps with some of these rookies. And then he made the point yesterday, now you're seeing it pay off, Lathan Ransom even talked about it afterwards. He's like, there's so much that I can do and see in a game now that I couldn't see in week 3, week 4. And it bodes well for the future. The fact that they're getting this out of their rookies in a year where they have a chance to go to the playoffs is just a huge bonus.
Yep.
And now they're going to be going into next year, no matter what happens in week 18, what happens in the postseason, you've got a rookie class going into their second year that has played a lot of meaningful, really competitive, down-to-the-wire football games. And that's the kind of experience you just can't buy.
No, you cannot. It's a good thing. Oh, by the way, speaking of guys who've grown and developed from a young place, that Bryce Young kid, turns out he's pretty good at football. He's shown that knack yet again. That was his 12th game-winning drive, 6th this season. He is one short of a franchise record held by one Jake Delhomme, who did it 7 times in 2003. You remember what happened in 2003?
They went to the Super Bowl.
Where were you in 2003?
In high school.
Because I was right here in this building watching Jake Delhomme do it over and over and over.
I was in middle school.
Ooh, keep talking. It's getting better, I promise.
Hey, we have people on our team that were born after 2003, so middle school even feels.
It's tough, but
what were you doing in 2003, Matt?
I was 10.
10, so middle school as well.
9 or 10. I was late elementary
I
school.
feel like the J.J. Jansen of this locker room. I'm the old guy amongst all these rookies, but yeah, I mean the point is Bryce Young with that 6th game-winning drive this year. 12th overall since start of his career, more than any quarterback since start of 2023 season.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the most of anybody his age.
Yeah,
the
Jake's
youngest.
7 in 03 were a special kind of thing, and it started in the opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars when he comes in and starts making plays. Hey, who'd they start the year against this year?
Jacksonville.
How about that?
Bryce Young was 2 in 2003.
I'm seeing symmetry here. I'm seeing storylines develop.
Seen?
By the way, when we were talking about, you said something about Lathan earlier. After the game, Canal's like, "Man, that's a great story, isn't it?" I was like, "No pressure, Dave. We're about to write that one.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That was my closer.
What are you in my meetings?" But yeah, it's all kinds of stuff going on here.
Have you seen the theories? You keep bringing up the Jacksonville seasons, and, starting with them, whatnot. I know we've seen the Jacksonville stuff, the Ohio State winning the national championship year after. Have you seen the correlation of Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl to J-Lo marriages and divorces?
Man, we want J-Lo to be happy, all right?
We just want her to be happy.
I just need J-Lo to be happy.
Maybe she should become a Carolina Panthers fan, and then we'll just try our best to make her happy.
You know, I don't know if that'll work, but I want everybody to be happy. And you know what else? Yeah, I do want people to be happy, so I'm going to show them the magic charts. You know what's happening right here, folks? This is analog playoff chances right here.
That's what you guys have to do it in the day.
Your Carolina Panthers are on the verge of it. Here's the situation. If the Carolina Panthers win this week against Seattle Seahawks and the Bucs lose to the Miami Dolphins,
clinched.
They in the playoffs. Other than that, if they go to Tampa Bay next week and win, they're in regardless. So those are the easy ways. I mean, if you want to think about it, no help whatsoever. In a weird way, this week's game almost doesn't matter unless the Bucs lose to the Dolphins, in which case this thing's over early and the Carolina Panthers could rest starters in Week 18. How weird is that? But to be in this situation with all these rookies, with all this growth going on, where we're talking about that possibility of being clinched going into Week 18, what a time to be alive.
What a time. And, Dave Canales gave the right answer today when he was asked about that. He said, he's not going to be scoreboard watching for the Bucs-Dolphins game. I wouldn't be surprised if the scoreboard here at Bank of America Stadium shows it, though. Maybe we'll see a little bit. But in my mind, I can't stop picturing it.
I think there's going to be about 73,000
that's what I was gonna say.
scoreboards in effect in Bank of America Stadium.
I do love when a team kind of has to depend, just for like a content purpose, when a team has to depend on another team for their playoff chances, and you start seeing the scoreboards in stadiums start showing the other game up on the scoreboard during your game. It's so funny. All of that to say, you made the point about people will be watching on their phone. I keep imagining that season 1 finale of Ted Lasso, where it's like if the other team lost, they only needed a tie or whatnot. And they're all playing the game, and then all of a sudden they start hearing all the fans being like, psh, and everybody's looking at their phone, and they realize what happened in the other game. That's what I'm imagining happening on Sunday.
I remember a game like that. The Panthers were in this situation in 1999. Okay. They had to run up the score on the New Orleans Saints, who were quarterbacked by a fresh-faced rookie named Jake Delhomme that day.
Talked a lot about Jake today.
That's right. Jake threw 4 interceptions that day, which were very helpful to a team that was trying to run up the score. Carolina Panthers won that game 45-13. Wasn't quite enough to get them into the playoffs that year, but Jake did a lot to make himself a Panthers legend that afternoon as well. But you want to talk about scoreboard watching. That was in the days before Twitter. That was in the days when the internet was still kind of new. And people were in here watching television and calling down to the sidelines on a landline telephone. It was exciting stuff. Lex Sant was communicating with Bill Musgrave on the sidelines and relaying score updates as he saw them on TV.
That's
I mean,
funny.
it was the ultimate analog experience that day. So we've come a long way since then. But I'm with Dave Canales. I'm one of them take care of your own business kind of guys. They've got a lot of business they can take care of. I mean, if they win these last 2 games against Seattle and against the Bucks down in Tampa in a couple of weeks, then it don't matter. Then all this other stuff is just stuff. All this paperwork I've been doing was for naught because they will have clinched it with a 10-7 record. And again,
They can clinch it with a 9-8.
how crazy is that we're talking about that? It is wild. The Carolina Panthers are on a roll. They got playoff possibilities coming up. There's all kind of good stuff. And, speaking of good stuff, there's Christmas this week. Again, I want everybody to have a good time. I have prepared my list. We got it ready right here. The naughties is conspicuously absent. We can fill that in. Tomorrow's Festivus. We can always go airing of grievances.
Well, I got some grievances to air.
I got a lot of problems with some of you people. But the nice list is filling up. We got Lathan Ransom, Bryce Young, Ryan Fitzmoney, and I've been calling him that all year just because I'm afraid I'm going to start calling him Ryan Fitzpatrick any minute now. So, and here's who else is on the nice list. Carolina Panthers fans. I mean, you talked about it. Players got the juice from you guys. I mean, the players were picking up on the energy you were sending down, and it was good to be able to celebrate something around the holiday season. And so we got all the names on the nice list. Thanks again to our friends at Deep Eddy, who definitely made the list. They've definitely been a friend of this program all season long, they've got more to share with us, I'm sure.
What is your go-to movie on Christmas Eve?
I'm still a Charlie Brown guy. Okay. I'm a Charlie Brown, the classic Charlie Brown Rankin Bass specials. Give me that Rudolph. Give me that Charlie Brown. We'll go True Meaning of Christmas, the little tree, which we've decorated with all our friends. From Deep Eddy, Chuck the Duck's there doing his thing like Woodstock in the tree. But give me a little Charlie Brown. I'm all good. You?
I'll go usually I'll watch Elf any old time. Right there around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, I love a good Miracle on 34th Street and A Christmas Story. You got to have a Christmas story. I'll do one of those. I'll watch it on TBS through the 24 hours a couple of times, and then I get tired of the commercials, so I put in the DVD, and so I can watch it straight through. Speaking of...
DVD, is that like a VCR?
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. Speaking of Festivus, I actually have one grievance to air while we're on this topic of Christmas movies. I just thought about this. I have a pet peeve, a hot take, if you will.
Oh, boy.
People that say that Die Hard is their favorite Christmas movie are just looking for attention. They don't, and whether or not it's a Christmas movie is here or there, but I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I think it's a movie that happens to take place at Christmas. But, we'll have that argument. But when people tell you that their favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, they want you to say something about it so they can argue with you about it. Just go with Elf. Go with a real Christmas movie. That's my grievance I've aired. I really needed to get that off my chest.
That could have gone so much worse.
Right.
So anyway, hopefully you've got few grievances. You stay on the nice list over here with all our friends. And who knows? You never know what's going to happen this week. I don't think we're going to tape an episode on Thursday like we usually do because, again, something holiday. Matt will be with his family. We'll all be with ours. We'll be with you here at Panthers.com on the practice field throughout the week. So keep it locked on the .com. Keep it nailed to the YouTube channel. There's going to be all kind of stuff coming up throughout the week. We appreciate all you guys. We hope everybody has a happy holiday. Don't forget to leave room for the strays and the strangers. That's the whole holiday. That's the point of this one, all gang. So everybody have a good one. We'll see you on the other side of it. And you never know, we might be talking about playoffs the next time we catch you on the Happy Half Hour.